Welcome to the opening school. For some time now we have been analyzing the King's Indian defense, and we will continue with that in this week's episode as well. In previous episodes we have seen what happens after the more common variations such as knight to c6 in this position. So today we will see what happens after the not so common continuation which occurs after e takes on d4.
If black takes on d4, the game will change course from being highly aggressive, where white attacks on the queen side while black attacks on the king side, to a more positional central play, but of course with its own share of tactics.
This move is far from the obvious choice in this position, but that is one of its greatest strengths. This since it somewhat tricks the opponent who believes that the game is going to turn into a very aggressive and probably a well-prepared variation. To this, a variation many players never thought they would play against.
The thing is that any white player, or black player for that matter, has spent a lot of time analyzing the King's Indian, and it often happens that players move away from the popular d4 and c4 development just so they can skip the King's Indian. The result of this is that the white player often knows theory to sometimes as far as the 25th move, and then if you suddenly break away from this line, from the 25 move theory your opponent played through in his head when he saw you play knight to f6 and g6, he might get very surprised when you spring this move at him.
This small and sometimes even not existing mind play will in no way guarantee you a win or advantage, but it might sometimes make your opponent lose his head and blunder.
White should in this position of course take back with the knight. Taking with the queen wouldn't lead to a direct loss, not even a disadvantage for that matter, but it would put the queen in unnecessary danger.
Black continues by targeting the white pieces on the now open e-file by playing rook to e8, threatening the c4 pawn, and white responds by protecting the pawn by playing f3.
Black can here choose between c6 and knight to c6, but let us say that black plays c6, giving him a very nice opportunity to play queen to b6, leaving possibilities open for many nice tricks. And in order for white to avoid the majority of them, he should of course play the quite natural king to h1, removing the threat even before it can manifest.
The position is in itself quite stable. Both sides are only at the start of their development and much can happen. White has more space but also more weaknesses, and the position is well balanced. But now we end this week's episode of The Opening School, and we'll be back again next week, so see you then.